Thank you for joining Effortless Attraction. My name is Evelyn McAleer. I'm the author of A Life You Want, Effortless, and The Woman's Journey. I'm a life coach, business mentor, and inspirational speaker. And my greatest value is making a difference in people's lives. So I hope through these podcasts I can make a difference to your life.
Effortless Attraction podcast is sponsored by Maria Young Wellbeing, wellness mentor and creator of Infusion, a platform designed to inspire health, wealth, abundance, and a life lived with purpose. Maria conducts events, trainings, and the blending of practical tools for lasting change. Her mission is simple: to help you live well and rise strong. You can explore more at www.mariayoungwellbeing.co.uk or infusion.mn.co.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another Effortless Attraction podcast. Effortless Attraction. I think that's going to be the theme of today. I am joined by Melanie Breslin. She's a transformational mindset coach, speaker, and the founder of Elite Mindset Academy. She's known for igniting rapid shifts in awareness and helping people create extraordinary results by aligning their identity with their vision. Through her powerful blend of mindset coaching, spiritual law, and deep energetic work, Melanie guides her clients to break through limitations, release control, and embody the version of themselves that already holds the life they desire. Her mission is simple: to help people unlock their limitless potential and live a life of freedom, prosperity, and purpose. Amen. You're very welcome, Melanie.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. I'm delighted to be here.
I love all these words. Now, once upon a time, I could have read that and thought, eh? Or as they say here, K?
Yep, most definitely.
Let me start by I underscored twice limitless potential. What does that mean? Or is it different for every person?
I find it's different for every person because every person here is at different levels of awareness. Now, myself, 5, 6, 7 years ago, wouldn't have even understood that I had that limitless potential. I thought I was living my life by my senses. I was living my life by my results. I didn't know that I could take hold and take charge. So the more that we develop ourselves and the more that we start to study ourselves, study who we are, what our capabilities are, and there is now it's unlimited. You can tap into unlimited resources, and we're not taught this. And this is where my passion comes in. That I teach each and every person that comes in my energy that they can have, they can be, they can do whatever it is their heart's desires.
Yeah. You see, when I first saw your videos popping up on Instagram, I'm always drew, and I believe that's energy. But there's a gentleness about you. And but again, there's more than just your words or your delivery.
Yeah.
And even if I hadn't have understood what you were talking about, there was something that, hence why we're connecting here today, And we actually had intended on doing a podcast while the lovely Melanie was in Spain herself. Now, you used to live in Ireland, currently in Ireland doing this podcast, but let the listeners know where you're at or where your travels have taken you to, Melanie.
Okay, well, where did my travels take me? I live in Manhattan. I have a complete life of freedom now that I can be wherever I want to be. I decided that on this journey, I teach from experience. I'm not reading from a textbook. I have lived this material. I have come through this material. I have had breakdowns, even when I was doing this material and not having a pathway. And the more that I started to develop myself, started to study this, I decided, right, well, how do I want to live? Where do I want to live? As much as I adore Ireland, it will always be my home. It's a big world out there. So I live in Manhattan. I travel back to Ireland maybe every 3 to 4 months to see my parents, with my clients. And we decided to go to Spain for a week's holiday. And we ended up staying 6 weeks. And that for me is freedom, that to be and to do what you want when you want it. And that is one of my core values here with my clients as well, is to give them as much freedom as they possibly, as far as their imagination can take them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just when you say we had planned to go to Spain for 1 week,
Mm-hmm.
but we ended up staying 6. Now, I am quite certain that will put so many people into sheer panic of, oh my God, but how is that possible? I have nothing booked. I need to have enough money. And your lifestyle obviously allows you that, Melanie, that there's no employer waiting on you to return.
There's not. Up until the point I was always my past version of me. I was a hairdresser, and then I was in hospitality. And I'm going back over the many years that I've been on this amazing planet, and I was always having to answer to someone. I had to answer to my clients at the beginning, and then I had to answer to my customers coming into the restaurants that I owned. And going through all these different stages in my life, now I can be where I want to be. I can work where I want to work. As long as I have my laptop, as long as I have some kind of connection and Wi-Fi. I have worked from Mexico, I've worked from Japan, I've worked from Spain. But this is the life that I drew out for myself as well, Evelyn. I
Yeah.
wrote it out exactly how I wanted my life to be. I
Yeah.
sat down, I got complete clarity. Yes, when I started writing it out, there was really small writing. It was very small, thinking, oh, I want to live here for 3 months. I want to travel here. I want to be able to sit on a beach and work from my laptop. But as you're getting it out of the physical body and you're seeing it from a different perspective, that it is possible. The moment, the thing that holds us back so much is the fear, the worry, the doubt that it can't be, the limitations that's placed upon us our entire life, not by anyone else, because other people are not aware that they're putting limitations on us, but it's what we're accepting as true. And
Hmm.
my journey is just I reprogram myself. I reprogram myself from lack, from being a victim, from poor me, from living my life by what I was seeing in this 3D world, to living my life by what I wanted. Like, and anything really truly is possible. It's, are you brave enough to take the step? And
See, sorry for interrupting
it's
you.
okay.
I'm just sitting, I'm thinking here as you're speaking. Here's two women at this point in time and place, and whatever day of the week or whenever anyone gets to listen to this podcast, and we have relatively the same story. So again, this strengthens my belief. This is not just for Melanie. This is not just for Evelyn. This is not just for so many other people that I know that have created what it is that they want to. But you I said something there too. How much do you want this? Because I'm sure, I don't know from your birthplace, but I was never born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Yep.
You know, we used to wait on the brown envelope come off a Friday, or things. That's how we grew up. I'm there were, there are limitations, of course, and we're absorbed into that. But then there comes this, what if this is true? What if I start thinking, what do I want? But do you find then, Melanie, that people are limited? They'll only go so far with their thinking because the rest of it's unimaginable.
Oh, completely. You will only go as far as you can believe yourself to go. And at this stage, even for myself, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I was so excited whenever my aunts delivered the bag of clothes that their kids had been done with to see what else we were getting. Now, I had an amazing childhood. I'm youngest of six. My parents, I'm so blessed. My parents are still alive, and we have a very loving family. But again, it was you worked. And we had a discussion last night. When I turned 17, I had been working, and my mum and dad had this little car. And if I wanted it, I had to pay for it. So this is the key point of this. We were brought up to understand you had to work hard. And that's how my whole life, I grafted, I worked hard. I was in the bakery. I was working 7 days a week when I was hairdressing. I was really pushing hard, forcing, thinking that's how I had to live my life. But when we start to study ourselves and we realize it's not about forcing in the physical body, it's really about working smarter, not harder, aligning yourself with what it is that you want, not chasing, not forcing, and it is for every single other person as well. But Evelyn, I walked about with a mask on my face for years, thinking on the outside it looked great, on the inside I was crumbling. And this is where my passion comes from now, that there's so many, not just women, but also men that's walking about, living their life, thinking that they are limited by their circumstances. You most definitely are not. They put off waiting until the kids get into school. They put off waiting until the finances are there. They haven't made a decision. And the
Yeah.
moment that you make a decision that you really want this, it opens up energetically, it opens up a space for the way to come to you. You will only see the way once you start walking the walk.
Mm.
And sitting on my kitchen floor in mid breakdown, crying my eyes out, asking God there has to be a better way to live than the way I was living. I didn't know the pathway. It's only now that I can look back and see the dots all joining together and saying, "Oh my goodness, that happened because that happened because that happened," and it's brought me to here. And it's even when you don't know that you're walking in the dark. And I always refer to, like, when it's foggy and you have the fog lights in the car, you will only see that little bit in front of you. But you have trust that there is a road in front of you if you keep going. And all as you go along the journey, there will be little bits showing up over and over and over again. And when you get to your destination, that's it. You're there.
Mm. But do you think, and I'm quite sure the listeners that are tuning in, I've done that so many podcasts about manifestation, about creating your reality, and every day I think I'm nearly posting something about our thoughts, our
Mhm.
words, our beliefs, our actions. And it was always something for me. Imagine if people knew this. Imagine if people actually knew that they always held the power.
Yes.
Imagine. And there's other things that we can look at as well to think, because I believe, and it doesn't have to be everybody else's belief, that a lot of people know this. So they can control and manipulate. And if we are kept in fear and in lack, by Jesus, you're the easiest person to be sold to or manipulated or kept in fear. Um, so the how, this is the scary part for people. So you mentioned there, you worked 7 days a week. You knew perhaps what your income was going to be. I know so many people that think, right, well, my wage is £400 a week or £300, whatever it is. That's all I can afford. I will never be able to afford to live in Spain. I think, do you want to live in Spain? So that's the limitation. How did they get past? But how? How is all this possible?
Because it's your programming. It's not that that's what you want to earn. That's all you know how to earn. So when you have this programming with all the data that is, you imagine this amazing physical body that you have. Now, my belief is that we're a spiritual being, having this experience on this physical world with an amazing intellect. But that intellect that we have, that mindset, it is programmed to give you the results that you have now. Now, this is taking complete responsibility. It's not about blaming or casting, and some of you may say, "Oh, that's okay for her to say that." But I had to come through this myself. I had to take the responsibility. I had to cut the BS. I had to literally lay it out there on the floor. And I thought, right, where's my programming at the moment? My programming is I have to work harder. My programming is that I can only have a certain amount. That lifestyle is okay for those people that's been born into that lifestyle. Then I started to question myself, started to question the data that was inside me. So all this data, it is false past data. It is some factual data in there as well. So the false past data is what we're picking up through social medias. Maybe our teacher had a bad day at home and came in and said something to us that we took it as a belief for ourselves. So every belief that you had, I had to question all my beliefs. Is this my belief or is it someone else's belief? And yes, in the reality now at the moment, you may be earning £400, £500 a week, a month, and you're seeing that you're limited by that amount of money. But if we shift that thought process from now, because your present results have been created from past thinking, and you start looking now and you say, okay, let me think, what do I want to earn? What is my passion? Where do I want to be in a year's time? What do I want to be doing in a year's time? So I bring it back into that. How much do I want to be earning? But we all have these programmings that money is the root of all evil. That's how I was brought up. Money doesn't grow on trees. You shouldn't keep your or keep quiet. Don't speak out. And I had to change all those programs. I was so shy. I had lost my voice. There were so many things that I had to change myself. And believe you me, if I can do it, every single one of you can do it as well. But it's just having the self reflection. What is the concept that you believe about yourself now in this moment? Because that concept is giving you the results in your life at the now. So
Mm.
we go to the end. We don't think how we get there. We go to the end, and how would I be feeling if I had my goal achieved? How would I be feeling if I was living the life of freedom? If I was living in Spain, if I was traveling first class, if I was living wherever you want to be and whatever you want to do. Now, my goal at the start was just true happiness. It wasn't finances, it wasn't the travel, it wasn't anything else. Had a knot in the literally in my solar plexus of fear, of worry, of lack of confidence, and I wanted that removed. And to me, it seemed so small. While I was coach or while I was actually being coached, everyone else had these huge big goals. And I was going, I just want to be happy. I just want to sleep at night. I just want to be fulfilled. I just want to love myself. But now, at this stage, to me, that's the optimum of really truly having that freedom, not just within, but mental freedom of being, doing, having whatever you want. And that for me is freedom to be where I want to be, to do what I want to do, and to have whatever I want to have. And it's not about having that false identity, Evelyn, that you're having all this, external things to elevate you. It's about coming from within. And that for me is how we go to the end. And how are we going to feel? What beliefs are we going to have? What identity do we have at that end? And I be very, very clear with all my clients that this isn't a quick fix. You change yourself for the rest of your life. You change internally, you change the program, and you change that internal structure that we have inside. And we do it brick by brick. And it's not about just sitting back and pretending everything is okay and being so positive, and because that can be quite toxic for you as well when your life is falling down around you. You have to build your mindset so strong that your
Yeah.
emotions don't take over.
Yeah, because regardless of what we have, house-wise,
Yeah.
car-wise, money-wise, there are going to be events that take place in all of our lives. Should it be family, our children,
Mm-hmm.
things that happen in the world, we are going to experience those things.
Always.
But again, it's with that, how do I come through this? I have a boy now, he's 24 coming, he's living in Australia, but he had rough, rough teenage years. And that feeling that you
Mm-hmm.
described, I used to dread, and he knows this, that I would have dreaded when I saw a message or a phone call come through from him. Now I delight. He's out in Australia. He's doing what it is that he loves. He has said himself, he's completely changed his mindset. He's now where he would have saw sunsets before passing over marks, but an appreciation.
It is.
And again, that thing with money, he says, the feeling that he has when he can walk into a shop and not have to check his app, how much money he has, can he afford to buy something? Nor will I receive a phone call looking for money. I'm very blessed now. I receive money from him. You help people to live a life of freedom.
Yeah.
Is it that feeling of freedom?
Everything's feeling. Every single thing is feeling. Consciously, we have got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So consciously, we can say all this. This is what we want. This is how we want. And we grip tighter and we try and make it come into the physical world, okay? And we try and control the outcomes. But the more as we do that, the further we're pushing it away. So whenever I talk about feeling, and feeling is the secret, there's an amazing book that I would recommend is The Power of Awareness. I'm not sure if you've read it, but it's by Neville Goddard, and he talks about the feeling is the secret. Now, when I started my journey, I started reading Think and Grow Rich by my mentor at the time, Bob Proctor, and I had heard he said the secret is in this book. Well, my awareness as I flicked through this book to look for the word secret, it has to be in here. Your secret is your awareness of you shifting who you believe yourself to be. And that feeling of freedom, it is priceless. You can't put a price on it. Most definitely not. So when I'm talking about the underlying belief, if you believe you can, you will. It's not just faking it till you make it or acting as if. I hate those two terms. I hate them. But it's so much so about feeling how you would feel if you were living this life. And the more that you're vibrating at that frequency, that's what you're drawing into your life. So we all know about the law of attraction. And the law of the universe works on emotion and works on vibration, works on frequency, and works on your feeling. So key point is, how are you feeling today? And it's okay not to feel great. You don't suppress the feelings because you want to feel, you want to feel the fear. You want to see it, gives you a really good indicator. You want to then be able to feel the opposite of fear. You want to feel the joy and the abundance and the happiness. So if you're suppressing anything, you're suppressing it all. So bringing it right back into the feeling. The feeling for me is number
Yeah, because that's what I think when we go into imagination, or what is it that you would like to have in life, we suggest to come up with these ideas because we believe it's going to bring us a certain feeling.
Yep.
And if we cannot create that feeling now without, there's a lot of disappointed people when they receive what it is that they want and they're like, but this is not what I expected, because we don't know how to create the feeling. It's amazing that sometimes we do rely heavily on the outside to make us, and it does make us feel a certain way. So therefore, if this podcast didn't go well, Melanie, it's your fault. You made me feel so bloody angry.
But this is going to go amazing because our energy is so good and it's just elevating and it's going to get into everyone's life that it needs to. And this is where the detachment comes in. Detachment for me, and I teach detachment quite a lot, is that we can only think as far as our imagination will allow us. Now, we think we get fulfillment from that goal. Now, it's not about the goal at all. And this is where I'm telling you to set a goal, but I'm telling you to be detached from the goal. But it's in the growth of who you have become. Who do you need to be to live that life? If you're sitting all day, every day watching Netflix and you want this 7-figure income, are you matching? You're on different alignments here. So you have to match the alignment. You have to match the frequency of that person. I changed how I showed up. I changed what I believed to be true. I changed location. Yes, I changed a lot of physical, but internally, what did I have to change? And this is where I take my clients through it as well. What do you need to call yourself out in? What habits, what beliefs, what behaviors do you have that's not in alignment at that version of you at goal achieved? And it's a journey. It most definitely is a journey.
Before coming on, he says, I need to wake myself up. So I jumped into the pool. I thought, like, it's Wednesday. I get to jump. Jim was cleaning out the pool. I was in the pool, jumping about to try and wake myself up. And then it gets to a stage, you think, what do I want?
Mhm.
So what do you draw from that when someone comes to you?
Well, your imagination is one of your mental muscles. So we have these amazing mental faculties. Okay, so we go to the gym to develop our muscles. Say I don't so much anymore, but we have to develop our imagination. Okay, so the more that you work on your imagination, the more you're going to stretch it. So we have an identity, and we can never outperform that identity that we have. We can never outperform where our imagination is at the moment, but you can change it. So you will only think as far as your identity will allow. You will only imagine as far as that will allow as well. So the great thing about it is when you're developing this, when you hold a vision and you're maybe going into yourself, and I talk about solitude quite a lot. I love meditating, visualization, mentally rehearsing. I love sitting by myself for at least 30 minutes per day and asking the questions and thinking, right, what is my heart's desire? What do I truly want? What is it for me? Not what anyone else wants. Not what my mum and dad might want, not what my husband might want, not what my family might want. But what do I want? Not even my name, Melanie Breslin, was given to me by someone else. So what is it, my true essence of me? And the more that I ask these questions, the desire will rise. Definitely. We may not want a physical thing, but we know how we want to feel. We know the lifestyle we want to live. And again, for you, you want the lifestyle of you want to get up, go into the pool, you want the beautiful sun on your back, you want the breeze, you want the experience. You know the experiences. And this is what life's about, is the experiences. So whenever we are really planting these seeds in our imagination, that's your intuition is telling you this is your desire. But what happens then? Your logic comes in saying, oh, I'll never be able to live in Spain. Oh, I'll never be able to go here. I'll never be able. That's your logic. We use our senses for eating nice food and smelling nice smells. We don't use them by living. We use our higher faculties. So we're stepping into your imagination. If
Mm.
all and everything was possible for you, this is a practice. Okay? An absolute practice. So if all and anything was possible for you, what would you want? And I
Mm.
get a lot of my clients to go back to maybe that 10-year-old version that were wanted to be a ballerina, that wanted to be an astronaut. They had no limitations. The limitations were only put on them by someone else telling them, you'll never do that. So this is where all that data is still in our mind. And we're pulling from that data saying, oh, my teacher says I wasn't good at this, I'll not be able to do that. Someone else said this and I'll not be able to achieve that. So this is where all that data, so if we wipe the data out, no, don't even wipe it out, we just overwrite it. It's always going to be there. It's part of who I am. But
Yeah.
we overwrite it. We overwrite it and we embed the new story. For me, I embedded the new story, but I had to take the action.
Yeah. And that's where sometimes it doesn't happen for people because we have to change, whatever it is that we desire, want to manifest, to create in life is we don't have to put a seed in the ground and plant it. It's already there.
There.
So it can be extremely scary for people to change their terminology, change their words, change their ways. But Melanie, I can tell from the off anyway that you're a very driven person. And it's a thing Jim will always say to me, Evelyn, you're very driven.
Mhm.
I think you have to have that drive. That drive, depending on what it is that you wish to do. You're a woman that really values her freedom, as do I. There'll never be a boss of me. But my life had to revolve around my kitty, so I had to become self-employed because there's nobody would employ me anyway for the hours that I would have worked for them. So, till and even when people would have said to you, "Oh, really? Can you do that?" The determination within yourself, the change within yourself, what can you do? And I know I've shared this story with you before. At 45, and I said, by the time I turn 50, I'm going to be living in Spain. Now, my reality at that time was it anybody looking in? No. But I thought, if this was real, if it was real, what would I be doing now in Spain? Do you want to be in a Spanish culture, or are you going to just hang out with English people, English speaking people all the time? So that's why I started to practice. Oh, well, I learned Spanish. What else do you need? Well, I would love to be generating an income. So what do you need to be doing there? You need to create your online business. And I used to take a wee portable barbecue at £2 perhaps from the petrol station. Put on the Spanish music, have my cerveza.
Uh-huh.
I was in Spain. In my head, I was in Spain. But and exactly what happened was, yes, on my 50th birthday, I celebrated it here in Spain, but the universe or God or the whatever we call it
Mhm.
granted me even more. I was also celebrating my first wedding anniversary on the exact same date. Isn't that
Amazing.
great?
That is so beautiful. But the key point here, as well as what you've done, when you manifest from that playful spirit, and that's exactly what you were doing, you're manifesting. It wasn't that you were forcing or you're pushing, you became magnetic for that because your
Mm.
goal wants you as much as you want it. And
Yeah.
the things that you want begin to kind of flow towards you. And we are only limited by our imagination. So it multiplied it. And this is where the detachment comes in. If we're forcing ourselves to think of this one particular thing, and again, I decided at the beginning or this summer I wanted to spend it by the beach. I wanted to spend it with the sun. My logic was saying we'll go to Spain, we'll go to France. So I had all this mapped out in my head. It changed. I don't know why. That's fine. I was in the flow. So this is when we're in the flow. And huge congratulations for you as well that you didn't just manifest living in Spain. You manifested then being in your your birthday there, your anniversary there.
I know. And it took for, but it takes for, as you say, the flow, for
Yeah,
certain things to happen along the way.
yeah.
And it took for Jim and myself and my path. And the reason why Jim and my paths crossed is because he came to me for dance lessons. But then COVID stepped in and the dance lessons quit. And then how did our paths cross again? Well, because of my third book I was writing and I needed him to do the video. And the reason why I needed and to get that done, because my father had died 2 months before. And I said to myself, Evelyn, you need to pull your socks up. You need to focus on something that is going to do good rather than dwelling on the loss. So that's how I contacted Jim. So when you said earlier on, looking back at seeing all the dots, why people's paths cross, There was never an intention at that time to live in, with Spain. But all I wanted to focus on that day is I don't want to feel sad.
Yeah.
So what can I do to make myself happy?
Mhm.
Absolutely petrified to reach out to Jim Kerr that had films for the BBC. And here's Evelyn McAleer, like, hello, it's me.
And
And he'll
now
say he never learned how to dance, but he ended up marrying the dance instructor.
that's it. Okay, that's it. You can guide him whenever you're dancing as well. It's so good. It is so good. I love that because you weren't desperate. And even now, when you can see that you weren't desperate for that outcome, it was because you were already aligned with that outcome because you had done all the work in the leading up to it. You had the barbecue, you had the feeling, you had the emotion, and then everything else. We can never your subconscious mind is unlimited, absolutely unlimited, and the potential there, we have no idea what is bubbling up inside us. And if
Yeah,
that's my passion, and I can't even get it out because I'm so passionate about it that I want every single person to feel the way you're feeling and the way I'm feeling.
yeah.
And it's so
But
possible.
isn't it an exciting thing to think of, oh, what experience would I like to create?
Mhm.
Now, you're talking about traveling first class, and I was telling you my son's in Australia, and I said to Jim, whenever we decide to go out there, maybe we'll travel first class. I said, I'm going to go onto YouTube and check out Qatar Airlines. Now, I checked that out, and I think it was business class, and I thought, no, I'd be too hemmed in because they have their own wee cat. No, I don't like them. I don't care if I don't care. No, I'll not. So I wanted to experience it on YouTube first.
Uh-huh.
And I've decided the other seats are fine.
That's a decision for you. And it doesn't have to be, it's what you feel yourself. And this is what I try and
Yeah,
get across to people as well. It's not about, oh, it's a status or
yeah, yeah,
it's a title. It's what you want for yourself in that moment as
yeah,
well. Now, as one thing that my mentor Bob Proctor taught me at the very beginning was always sit at the front of the plane and the back of the car. And no matter where I'm traveling, and it just seems to be even whenever I book a flight, if I'm flying by myself, if I'm flying for work, if I'm flying home, if I'm even going to Spain, I'm always at the front, whether it's Jet2, whether it's EasyJet, whether it's Ryanair, whether it's the Aer Lingus first class or business class, I'm always at the front of the plane. But that's just part of me now. It's how it's like not even a belief, but it's just natural for me to go straight away. And once I've accepted that and that is programmed into me, it happens naturally. Now, if
hmm,
I'm flying with family and we had an experience that my daughter thought that she was always going to be sitting in first class, and I don't want an entitled child, so I had to learn her a few things that, okay, this is where we're going to be sitting now. She wasn't too happy the first few times, but that's okay. It's all in the feeling, really in
yeah,
the feeling as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What feels best? Yeah, you could sit and talk about this.
All day.
You have events coming up, Melanie.
I have events. I've just had an event last week. I have another online event now. I do free events and it's over 2 days and it's everyone's welcome to join. And I teach for 2 days on your programming, your paradigms, setting goals, your internal behaviors, and just giving people an understanding what, like, you already are what you're seeking. The peace, the joy, the fulfillment, everything's inside you. It's not outside, it's not externally from you, it's all in here waiting for you to notice. So I give them steps and guidance then on how to notice it. And then take them through the steps of manifestation as well.
The website will have all the information.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Well, I could sit and talk on this subject, on this topic for ages, but for anyone that's listening, and there's a place, and I know, and Melanie knows, that feeling of where you're at when you're ready for that change. She had that conversation with God crying on the kitchen floor. There must be something better. I walked a beach and begged God to throw a wave in to take me out. That, and we use that word God, perhaps not as, the man in the cloud with the baby, but it's whatever feels right to you, whatever word suits you. Um, and I'm glad that it wasn't the wave wasn't sent because at the end of the day, all we're we are seeking for in this life is a good life, to be good people, to have, to wake up of a morning and feel so blessed, no matter what we have, that feeling of being blessed, to be surrounded by great people. And we are very blessed here. People with very little give a whole lot.
Absolutely.
To have wonderful conversations, to be able to be yourself.
That's it.
Um, and there is a stage in people's lives, I think, where they do be crying out for help, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to make it, to bring in the changes. What advice would you give Melanie if someone is this and thinking, I can't put up with this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
First and foremost, just breathe. We hold our breath when we're afraid. And when we hold it in, so breathe, trust the flow. Start to imagine what it is that you want, but you have to feel it now. And then, like life is a dance, and we have to either dance through it, music through it, but reach out to someone. Now, you spoke there about being authentic. Authenticity is one of the highest. We talk about gratitude, love, joy, but authenticity is one of the highest frequencies. And you will resonate with someone, whether it is with me, whether it was with Evelyn, whether it was someone else on your journey. You will really resonate with them. And I would highly recommend reach out. For me, my life changed when I got my coach. It totally transformed. 6 weeks 6 weeks into studying myself, 6 weeks into my program, and I had just went bankrupt. I had lost a business. Couldn't put food on the table, and I was standing in LA, being a VIP guest, meeting my mentor Bob Proctor face to face now. And I'm not just saying this to impress anybody, but just to impress it upon you that it is so possible for you. You're not alone. You may be in the physical body feeling alone, but we are all one. Everyone here is rising in consciousness together. And as we rise in consciousness together, we're here for you. Whether it is a phone call, whether it is, I offer free strategy lessons as well. It's 45 minutes. If I can help you, I will help you. If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. But there's never any pressure, because to me, pressure is for tires. There's no pressure at all. Life is for living, it's for flowing, it's for enjoying. And if you're not at that point at the moment, yes, we set goals. Yes, we go after something to go. This is why a goal is so important, because we're stretching from who we are now to who we need to be at that goal. You will achieve the goal and probably 10 times more and 10 times better, but it's in the growth. And I'm not going to promise you that it's easy. It's simple. It's not easy because the old programming always holds on
Mm.
until you make a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that for me was my journey, and that for me was my growth. And I was told that at the beginning of my journey, it is not easy because the old programming, but it must give way. And this is why your desire and your why has to be so big. My why now is my daughter, 11 years old, that she is going to be, as she is such a leader, she is so determined, and that is my why, that she is never going to have the experience that I had.
Yeah.
So whatever
Well,
it is,
that's it, mummies and the roles that you lead, and it's all it will with it. It's doable because I've won myself, and she's a
yep.
thinker. She's great, right? And I give her the same advice
Uh-huh.
whenever that you had said earlier on. If you have your laptop, and it was during COVID,
Yep.
everything, my work, my dance, and everything stopped. And the first thing I went, Jesus, there'll be no food in the cupboard, and that was at the time that we invested in buying her a laptop. I said, create your business. As long as you have that, you can travel anywhere in the world. And she started off small. She moved to London, then changed, went to London, then went to Abu Dhabi for 2 years. Now is back in London and still has her, she teaches, but she still has her online and gains an income and has freedom.
Freedom. That is so important. Mental freedom is optimum. Mental freedom is, oh my goodness, that you can accept and you can reject the thoughts that you're having. And so many of us don't even realize that we can do that. So freedom is a huge word for me.
Mm,
Freedom and feeling. If anybody takes anything away from today, freedom and feeling.
yeah. And it is possible. Everything is possible. And that is the truth, because I will swear by it myself. And
Yep.
you're the living proof of it as well, Melanie. And people might look in at our lives now and see the end result. there's been a lot of shitty times.
There's been a, a lot. And if I could be on, I'd say we'd have a full week podcast if I went through my whole story of my whole journey. And I will, I'm putting it all into a book. I will at some stage.
Well, good
But
woman.
that's it. For me, it was the key point is making the decision that you want change.
Yeah.
And I broke, and I always refer to myself as one of those glow sticks that we break and then we shine. But I don't want anyone else to break. This is why I want to coach and to help each and every one that I possibly can. Now, for years, I was following, different things online, and I was watching different Jay Shetty. I was watching The Secret. I was doing it all, crystals, Reiki, anything that you can think about. And I've been doing that since I was 16. But my life was getting worse. It was literally, there was no structure, no path. And I was going, right, well, I've been doing this for years. It's not working. What else do I need to do? And it's only then, whenever I stepped into a program, a pathway of goals, looking at my habits, looking at myself, going through the whole journey. And
And you have accountability when you have a coach as well.
completely, completely, because you're someone, I'm coaching my clients from my awareness. I don't see them from their present results. I see them from their higher self and their truer higher self, not from where they're at the moment and not where they're feeling or what they're going through. And as they're going through adversity, I know that that adversity is giving them growth. I know that that adversity is giving them a real opportunity to grow. So I coach them from where I see them, not from where they see themselves. And that's the most beautiful thing about it, accountability, because we need accountability until can be accountable to that person in the mirror.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Right about the stop because I said to you, do you know when it's like you're getting off the phone to someone, you're like, right, bye, 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 bye. We're gonna tell you.
Get it in.
And I just said to you at the start, they normally last about 30 minutes. In the back of my head, I could hear, uh-huh.
Uh, Chris, honestly, I've been studying this every day for this last, oh my goodness, 7, 8 years. From since I
Yeah,
was 16, actually, I've been
yeah.
always studying manifestation and I've been studying growth and the more that you never get to the end. And it's as you shift your awareness, the material's all the same. It's all the
Mm,
same.
mm.
You change, the material doesn't change. Your awareness changes. And that's a key point of this.
I just see everything is simply an experience.
Hmm.
When we walk around here or someone comes, oh, do you own this land? I never feel like I own this land. Myself and Jim are just simply looking after it to the next people come in. Now, it's an asset, certainly, if we
Yeah.
decided to sell that we could invest in something, which would
Hmm.
gain us that money thing to invest in something else. But I am kidding myself if I actually think that I own this land. The land's like, yeah, right, Evelyn.
No one, and we get caught up in this bricks and mortar and this little patch of land. This is the key point. We get caught up in all finances, and we think that money. I thought that my freedom was going to come from money because I had a real bad relationship with the finances at the time because everything with work and now it's the best thing ever happened to me. But it's just a symbol. Someone has created this. So it's all symbols, it's all reflections, it's all expressions. So what you truly seek is the feeling underneath that, the freedom, the security, the love, the joy. It's not the symbol.
Yeah, yeah.
So the moment that you recognize that, you stop worshiping the actual symbol and you start living the essence. So we have a wealth consciousness of these gorgeous green leaves around. Oh my goodness, I'm looking out just on fields and green leaves, and there's an abundance in life. It's not just by the symbol that someone has created and put it down. If you have that feeling of wealth, of prosperity, the finances is going to come. And I'll leave you with that.
We'll leave it at there because we'll keep going on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another Effortless Attraction podcast. Loved it. And perhaps, Melanie, you never know. I think I'll actually put it out there now that you will be here in
Yes,
Spain and we will have a video recorded, the two of us sitting side by side.
we will indeed.
You might even stay over.
The sun shining. I will.
There we go.
Well,
Couple
I
of
will
wee
put it out as
drinks.
well, and it is done. It is
It's
done.
out there now, and so it is right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you so much. And I will put Melanie's contact details in the description below if you'd like to reach out. And if you're listening on Spotify, there's a wee section below about with comments. Would love to hear your feedback. All the best, and thank you, Melanie.
Thank you so much for your time.